gets really cold, my internet freezes. And there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a moment where you're like really opening up your soul. You're like digging into that Pandora's box and bringing out shit that you don't want to remember. And then all of a sudden her face freezes, but not in a good way either, but like the most messed up face possible, where you're sitting there still talking because you're working your therapy, but in the back of your head you're like, did I just break my therapist? Should I like stop for a minute? But no, I'm working. This is my therapy, my time, so I'm working it. And then I get all done, and then finally she comes back and is like, I'm so sorry, I missed all that. Can you repeat it? And you're like, fuck. She does do a lot of self-care for herself. I'm very proud of her for that. It helps me see how important it is when your therapist does it. So when she tells me she's gonna take 2 weeks off, all I think to myself is, you know, just me alone being your patient, I think you should get like 2 weeks paid vacation. And not just a paid vacation, I mean like an all-expense paid vacation. And a real vacation, you know, where your family doesn't come along with you. Right now, she's trying to teach me new lessons. One of the big new lessons I'm learning right now, and I'm going to share it with you all because I think everybody needs to know this. Don't just reward yourself for the positive things you do and say throughout your day, but most importantly, reward yourself for the things you don't say and do throughout the day. Just in case you're a little confused on that, I can clarify it for you with something I like to call Confessions from Carolyn. Now, in my defense, sometimes, apparently, I have the ability to overreact in a situation. Maybe sometimes connect dots that aren't really there. Like, these two teenagers took a gnome off my front porch, right in front of me. Walked up, grabbed my gnome, and began to walk away with my gnome. Didn't even give me the respect to fucking run. Just walked away with my gnome. And I looked over at Dusty and went, they took your gnome. And he went, what? Now this is where I began to connect dots that weren't really there. And I looked at him and went, no, not again, not today. And I ran out that door with the adult thought process that it would be a really good idea for me to go get my gnome back. So I ran out and screamed at the top of my lungs, give me my fucking gnome back, bitch! Now the kids decide to fucking run. But they don't know PTSD. So I began to haul ass after them. I chased them for 6 fucking blocks. Actually, I only really ran for 3, but because of my age, I need to slow down and catch my breath. And I snuck up behind them because short people, you can't really hear us. So I got right up behind them, about a foot behind them, and yelled again, give me my fucking gnome back, bitch! They jumped about 2 feet in the fucking air. At this point, I decided it was a good idea to speak to them like I was 14 years old and back on the streets of West Palm Beach. I was using vulgarities I had forgotten. I actually think I made up a couple when I looked at his girlfriend, and there's kids around, I'm so sorry. I looked at his girlfriend and called her a cum-guzzling, double-cunted gutter slut. At this point, thank you. At this point, other people started to come out, other adults were coming out to watch. Not to intervene, just to watch. And then when the teenage boy looked at me and said, I didn't touch your fucking gnome, and rolled his eyes. Some of you parents know that eye roll that I'm talking about, the one that makes you want to hit him really hard, but then you remember you can go to jail for that, so you don't. And then I decided, once again, an active adult decision, that I needed to teach these children some respect. And today was the fucking day. I have nothing better to do. I'll go to jail today. So I proceeded to launch at these teenagers. Now, it wasn't just gonna be mindless violence. I am an adult, I'm fucking 49. I've already raised a kid. So I was gonna be inspiring about it. And each time I hit them, I was gonna make sure to be encouraging. Stay in fucking school, get a fucking job, find a fucking hobby. But as soon as I launched in the air, my boyfriend Dusty arrived magically behind me and swooped me up into the air. And I'm still cursing and screaming. And then all of a sudden I realized, wait, if I slow down and calm down, he'll set me down. So then I used my therapy skills and I found my center and my balance, did my breathing. He thought I calmed down. The second my feet hit that ground, I launched again, screaming, I'm gonna fucking eat your soul! At this point, they actually ran. And Dusty started to walk the other direction because I think he figured out if he puts me down again, I'm just going back after him. And the whole time he's carrying me, I'm not done. I'm still talking shit, yelling to these fucking kids with adults still watching, that if they ever come by my fucking house ever again, I'll fucking own them. They still don't walk by my house. And I got my motherfucking gnome back.
Yeah.
When I talked to my therapist about this, because part of therapy is telling her everything, even the moments you're not so proud of. Because I'll admit, walking back to the house, I was like, you know, that probably wasn't my shining moment of the week. I probably shouldn't have done that. But hey, I got therapy in 2 days, so we'll be all right. And then when I got done talking to her, she said, well, Carolyn, all that is true. Yes, and let's look at the happy thoughts. You learned that your reaction was incorrect. So you now know how to treat it in the future when somebody takes something from you. You know not to connect dots. This is a valuable lesson. And you learn this without anybody getting hurt. So enjoy your fucking cupcake. So I took that, and I want you guys to take that. Now I imagine yours won't be near as extreme as chasing teenagers down for your fucking gnome. But next time you're at work, and there's that girl you just want to smack the fuck out of, and you go home and you realize at the end of the day, fuck, I didn't hit a bitch. Smoke a joint, take a bubble bath, enjoy your fucking cupcakes. Sorry, there's 420. Could you imagine being raised by me? I actually do have a child. There was absolutely no failure to launch in my household. He was actually packed and ready to move out at 18. But I was like, no, stay home for a year, enjoy money, because once you move out, you're fucking broke the rest of your life. So he did, but on his 19th, he was out that fucking door. And I had his friends' mothers calling me, going, Carolyn, how did you get him out of the door? Mine's still in the basement, drinking White Claw and playing Call of Duty. I said, simple.
I tried to move out.
I beat him when he was little. Not too much. Not enough to where he like flinches every time somebody moves fast, but just enough where he knew not to get lippy with his mom. I'm only 4'10". I have to work with what I got. No, actually, I was just extremely involved in my son's life. I wasn't like a helicopter parent or like a butt plug parent or anything like that. Speaking of butt plugs, have you guys seen these ones that light up at night?
Yeah.
I know, I think they would be amazing for night walkers and night joggers. Nothing sexual, it's like a taillight. Everybody will know where you are. It doesn't have to be sexual, unless you really want it to be. I'm not here to yuck your yum. I also volunteered a lot in his classroom, especially in kindergarten. That's the best year to volunteer. If none of you guys have kids yet, when you have them, kindergarten is the time to volunteer. And that's also when I realized there's something missing off that school supply list. Booze. We need to be giving these teachers booze. And the amount of booze you have to give them should depend on your child's grades. And I don't mean like their academic grades. I mean like their behavioral grades. That should be how you have to base how much booze you give your teacher. I also did Cub Scouts for 3 years. I was a den leader. I love the hell out of that. I did a lot of fun with it until about 3 years into it, another mom found out I used to be a stripper. And she reported me. And they decided that I was immoral and shouldn't be near little boys. So I got booted. But it's okay. I was a stripper, not a priest. Calm the fuck down. I did kind of get even a little bit. I didn't have anything to do with it, but karma is a bitch. The mom who started all the drama got busted stealing from the pack. And all I could think as she was being sentenced was, well, if I would have left any money, at least I would have earned all mine. Being an involved mom does come with so much drawbacks. Like sometimes you see things and take part of things you don't really want to at all. Like one time I came into the room and all the boys are hovered around the computer losing their little minds. So I go over and I'm like, oh my God, what are you guys watching? I want to see. And they're like, okay, come on, Mom, come see this. 2 girls, 1 guy. Yeah, I know. If you haven't seen it, don't look it up. Just don't, please. It is, yeah. And I was committed. I couldn't walk away. I spent years developing a reputation with these boys. I had to watch that fucking video from beginning to end. And all I could think was, these little assholes are so lucky I saw a donkey show in Tijuana. Because that was way worse. I did raise him being very open. He knew I used to be an exotic dancer. I never did anything I was ashamed of, so I wasn't ashamed to tell him. And when he turned 21, he decided to go to Vegas, which is one of the places I used to dance. And I get a very inebriated drunk phone call at 11 o'clock at night, because, well, it's Vegas. And he's like, Mom, what club did you work at in Vegas? I was like, the Can Room, why? He's like, great, we're gonna go there. And I was like, good job, son, make it rain. And then we hung up and all I could think is, how fucking healthy was that conversation to have with my child? Too late, damage is done. It's also, as your son gets older and your children get older, it's when you realize your epic failures that you've made. And there's good to acknowledge your failures as a parent. So there's one big, huge one that I will acknowledge. My son works at a bar in Durango. He's a bartender. He goes into work during the daytime when they put out a new menu to learn all the new drinks. So that way you know how to make them. And when you learn drinks, you of course taste them, so you know what they taste like. And when he got done, he drove home in the middle of the day, and apparently got pulled over. And he calls me bawling. Mom, I have a DUI. And I'm like, oh my God, what happened? He's like, I didn't know you could get one during the day. And I froze. And immediately went to therapy skills training and repeated back to him what I thought I heard to make sure I did not misunderstand my sobbing child, so not to be insensitive. Alex, did you just tell me you didn't know you could get a DUI during the daytime? Well, yeah, everybody I know got him at 9. I was like, well, all I can really say to that is that's not going to uphold in a court of law. And then now I wonder, what else did I not tell my son that I should have? I mean, I didn't know I had to tell him laws for fucking 24 hours a day. What the fuck else did I forget to tell my child? Before I had my son, I was in the Navy. Any vets in here? Or am I the, woo! What were you? Air Force, thank you. My father was Air Force. Thank you for your service. Thank you. I was stationed in San Diego by Tijuana. When I joined the Navy, I actually had to get a height waiver. because apparently you have to be 5'2" to join the military. I am 4'10" and 3/4 inches. So, and that 3/4 is very, very important. Because when you go to the DMV, it gives them the opportunity whether or not to round up or round down. And thanks to that little neat trick I know, I'm now 4'11". And the reason that's so important is when I was growing up, 4'8" was the height for a midget. And now, it's 4'10". And I'm sorry, I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. I spent my whole life secure saying at least I'm not I may be short, but at least I'm not a midget. And now I'm a fucking midget. All the trauma I have to deal with, now my therapist has to help me deal with the fact that I'm dating a midget fucker. He's so fun. I did enjoy the military. I think my favorite part, other than Tijuana, was boot camp showers. I mean, think about it. I'm boob height. That's 86 girls. That's 172 titties, just in case you needed the math. I can't look up. That's waterboarding. I can't look down. That's reverse waterboarding in a shampoo. No, actually, it was acronyms. Like CYA. Cover your ass. KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And my favorite, which is actually a non-binary term, although it gets me in trouble, cunt. Can't understand normal thinking. Yeah, see, I love watching the men's face when I do that joke, because they're looking at their spouse to see if they can laugh. Men who are alone, they just fucking laugh. They're like, yeah, she's right, that's fucking funny. But men who are with a woman, they're like side-eyeing her to see if it's okay. And if they don't laugh, they don't laugh. So the more I do that joke, the more it's becoming entertainment for me on stage, just to watch the men sweat the shit out when I do it. I really am proud of how the military has opened up for women. We can do so much now that we couldn't do before. And in the Navy, there's just, I can't speak for other branches, but in the Navy, there's one place where I don't think women belong, and that's submarines. And don't judge me too harshly. On a submarine, you have to hot rack. You share a rack with somebody else. If you have men and women go underwater for 6 months, somebody's coming back up pregnant. My ship couldn't go to Hawaii from San Diego without a girl getting knocked up. There's no way you could put all women on board, because we'll freaking kill each other. The bleeders will be over there fighting and screaming over stuff, and the menopause women are just going to be sitting back laughing their fucking asses off, going, remember when we used to care so much about so little? Should we stop the fight? Nah, fuck it, let them figure it out. We did. And they're the only ones coming back up from the water. Another thing I figured out being in the military is that men are like ships. Other than just being full of seamen. You have your aircraft carriers, which are your larger ships, and they hit that water, the bedroom, and plow right through that water, slow and steady, gets where it's going, does what it needs to do, not a whole lot of motion, just point A to point B, gets it done. And then you have your frigates. They're not the smallest ship in the Navy, but they're smaller. And then when they hit that ocean, they're all over the place. You're a little bit over here, a little bit over here, a little bit up here, a little bit down there all of a sudden. Next thing you know, you're bounced back up over this way. They work that fucking ocean. So all I'm saying, ladies, is please, give a fucking frigate a chance, all right? That's my time. I appreciate you guys so much.